there is one thing you can do to fix your cravings and binge eating when you're trying to lose weight. So have you ever tried going on a diet or trying to lose weight, and at some point in your weight loss journey you start to crave and binge, especially foods that you love to eat, the ice cream, the cakes, the cookies, the chips, and because of that you're stuck and you're not making any progress. So if that's you, today I'm going to share with you on why it happens and one simple shift you can do to fix it, which will also make your weight loss process a lot more easier. So if you're tuning to this video, drop a number 1 in the comments so that I know you're here with me. Alright, so the first thing is you got to understand how binge happens, and there's like a 4-step process towards it, right? It starts with restrictions, cravings, and then binge, and there's a 4th one, which is guilt. Alright, and here's the thing, because of guilt you are actually back to square one, which is restrictions, and this is why you are trapped in this endless cycle of binge eating. So an example would be, let's say I give you an example. So you tell yourself that you cannot have a certain kind of food. Let's take cookies for example. Okay, so for whatever reason you think that is bad, all right, you feel like having some, but because you restrict yourself, you start to crave, and over time this craving, over time there's this tension that will build up in you, and this tension has no way to release itself, okay, but it has to go somewhere. So what happens, out of a sudden you lost your control and you binge. Instead of having a few pieces of cookies, right now you are having the entire box. Alright, and then what happens after you binge? You start to feel guilty, right? And what happens after that? Alright, you think that you have screwed up and you have to starve yourself again. You are back to square one, whereby you restrict yourself again. Alright, so the reason why people binge is because of restrictions, and which is why most diets will fail in the long run. But here's one thing that you have to know, that restriction is not the root cause. Restriction is just an effect. There is something behind that is driving that behavior, right? That you have to address it. Okay, so we need to take a step back. Okay, that is right in your mindset. You are labeling foods as good and bad, and it's that kind of belief that drive restrictions, right? That drive your behavior, which leads you trapped in this vicious cycle, all right, over and over again. And until you shift that belief, you will not get rid of binge eating. Alright, but it's not your fault, because there are many people who are trapped with this kind of mentality, which is one of the reasons, because it's what the diet industry they tell us, right? And I have clients who were so afraid, to go to social events, right? They are so afraid of food, and until we make this shift, right now he's not afraid of going to social events, not afraid of having a lot of food, and actually start to enjoy his life. So the point here is, food is just food, okay? It is just how much of it you can eat. It's just like having a financial budget, right? You got to manage your income, you got to manage your expenses. So instead of restricting, what I teach is you got to learn to go on a flexible nutrition approach, right? And the key here is, how do you actually include the foods that you enjoy and make you happy while losing weight? Because enjoying what you eat is the key for sustainable weight loss. All the foods can be part of a diet, right? And the key here is to find a way of eating that allows you to look, feel, and perform at your best. Okay, because remember that consistency is important, right? And you cannot have this kind of consistency if you're always trapped in this vicious cycle over and over again. And what you need to do is you got to shift the belief, and you will stop binge eating. Remember that restrictions create frustration. Flexibility creates the freedom. So my message to you is, don't feel guilty for eating, okay? If you feel like having something, you can have it, right? And that's what I call food freedom. So I hope this makes sense to you, and if you find this video helpful, hit the like button and share it with someone who might find it helpful as well. Alright? So that's all for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I wish you a happy and a blessed day ahead. Talk to you soon.